the conversation she'd had with her uncle around this kind of thing was that he'd said, well, one of the great things about this work is that the basic principles of it, and I'm going to add something here, I'd say the basic principles of it as an observation about how the human body functions are so biologically right, so biologically sound, that conveying some inkling of it to people is likely to give them benefit. And so, you know, if you're just, and here's another part of this, and you know, I'm sure those of you who've been around the Alexander Well for some years will have had this experience. You go to all sorts of gatherings, or maybe actually, no, here in Australia, I'm sure this doesn't happen. But in other parts of the world, when you go to gatherings of Alexander teachers and you get to exchange work with people, occasionally you have some horrible experiences. I know you won't even know what I mean here. It never happens. But you know, sadly it happens in other parts of the world. You get these awful experiences. And you make a note of that teacher's name. And 6 months, a year later, somebody comes to apply for teacher training. And they're so enthusiastic about the technique, they want to train and devote their life to it. Who do they have lessons from?
That teacher.
How can that be? Because, again, you know, the basic principles are so sound that get some inkling of that in people, get some integrated expansion going, get their brain, their consciousness in gear to start asking for it and encouraging it in themselves, and they get a lot of benefit. The one aspect of this, as somebody who's been directing trainings for some years, is that sometimes I think, why do we bother to make the training as good as possible? Because, damn it, you know, you can be out there as a pretty mediocre teacher and still get results. So why don't we just train mediocre teachers? That's late at night sometimes. Those evil thoughts, and I banish them when the morning daylight comes in. I want to, I can't stop looking at where my wrist is.
Half an hour to